It's a cult of hate. It's fucked up. It's a cult of hate against me. And I'm not going to put up with that shit. Okay. The other thing we got to figure out, and this is very important, the fate of Multiversus. All right? I got to talk about this today because I really don't know what to do about the game. Here's what I mean. I like Multiversus. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a platform fighter, which I'm not used to playing. I've dabbled in platform fighters over the years, most notably Smash Brothers, which I've played 2 different ones here in my content and on my streams, but also I played other ones such as PlayStation All-Stars and stuff like that over time. Now, traditionally, they don't last long. And what I mean by that is, if they have single-player content, I usually play through it, all right? And then typically I'll try different characters, play them online for a little bit. And then after playing for, a couple weeks, pretty much it dies out. I lose interest, all right? I am a traditionalist when it comes to fighting games. I do enjoy the traditional 2D plane, 1v1 or 2v2 style action that we've seen, for the longest time. I grew up in arcades playing Street Fighter 2. So obviously there's a reason for that, right? But in the case of Multiversus, all right, I've actively taken the time to try to play it at least twice a week, if not more, to try to play as many of the characters in the game as possible that are available to me, because the way they're doing it is, limited release. Oh, this week 4 characters are available. Then a week later, another 4 characters are available. And then you can permanently unlock them, but it is a slow grind to do that. So, I'm doing my best to basically learn the game at a slow pace. All right, the game has had rebalance patches and updates and things. And after having played it for about 2.5 weeks now, I can tell you I like the game. And I would like to continue playing it, at least for now, on a regular basis. I do feel like it's a good thing to have this style of game in the rotation. Outside of this game, I'm not playing any multiplayer games right now, besides my weekly Friday night fights, okay? So it's good to have a multiplayer game in the mix, and it's also good to have a game like this where there's a lot of hype behind it, a lot of talk around it. There are a community of people all over the internet that are very excited for it because it is free to play. There's always going to be players playing it, you see? But basically, here's the deal. Whenever I play Multiversus, here's what happens, okay? Views, good. For a night stream, I'm getting over 300 viewers on a stream like that. That's really good. I'm pleased, all right? Engagement, meaning likes and interaction. Good. Last night on the Multiversus stream, we had over 100 likes. People were talking with me in the chat about the characters, about all kinds of stuff. Engagement's great. In fact, I'll be honest, I have a hard time keeping up with the level of engagement that we get during the Multiversus streams, because a lot of the time I'm so focused on playing the game, and you gotta be really focused. It's not like playing a chill game like Toy Story 3 where I can sit back and talk with you guys. It's me going crazy trying to stay alive and trying to win the matches. And let's be honest, I think you guys like the fact that when I play multiplayer games, sometimes things don't go right and I rage, and you like that aspect of it. That's why you like having a multiplayer game in the mix, right? But the one thing that has not been a constant, the one thing that is shocking to me, is the support that I get during the Multiversus streams, all right? I'm not kidding when I tell you right now, out of all the games I'm currently playing, so this includes Final Fantasy VII, Toy Story 3, 2 Point Campus, and yes, even Friday Night Fights. Out of all those other games I'm playing, every one of those games gets more support than Multiversus. When I play Multiversus, it's usually like almost no support. All right? Last night, even after having appealed to the audience, telling you guys I really want to keep this game in the rotation, all right, I made $20. Okay? Excuse me. Again, comparing that with all the other things that I currently have in my rotation, it's crazy that the game doesn't get supported for some odd reason, okay? It's just confusing. Now, people have had different takes on this, all right? Some people have said, well, maybe you should actually try moving Multiversus to the daytime slot. That if you had it at a longer session, maybe a different audience for it. Perhaps you'd still get that engagement, but maybe you'd have more support. I don't know about that. I mean, we could try it for sure. But I'm not necessarily 100% sold that simply moving the game to the daytime slot over the nighttime slot is going to completely change the attitude when it comes to supporting the game. The thing about Multiversus, or the thing about any game that has an online component, all right, and that you're trying to play in any kind of a competitive way, is that those games take more investment and more time and dedication than other games. For example, Toy Story 3 is a game that I can play whenever I want. And I could step away from Toy Story 3 for 2 weeks right now and come back to it later. It wouldn't affect the gameplay whatsoever. It just wouldn't, okay? Multiversus, if that's a game where I step away from it for several weeks and I come back, okay? That could completely change the quality of me playing the game. People may have learned new strategies. Other characters might have unlocked. The game might have been rebalanced. And if I'm not actively playing it during all that period of time, and I miss out on all of that, now I'm behind the curve. And now it's like playing catch up, which just makes it all the more difficult to put out an entertaining stream when you're behind of everyone else, you see? And this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. Over the last several years, when essentially all I really played for fighting games was retro Street Fighter, right? And people complained and said, Phil, you'd really do better if you took that expertise you have in fighting games and you applied it to other fighting games. Why aren't you playing Tekken? Why aren't you playing Mortal Kombat? Or every example under the sun, you know, Guilty Gear, whatever it may be. Why don't you play those games? Why do you only play retro Street Fighter, right? And honestly, the answer I always have for you is the same. Because it takes a hell of a lot of time investment to stay pertinent and to stay knowledgeable about a fighting game. I'd be having to play the game multiple times a week in order to stay in the know about the game and be able to hang when I play online. And quite frankly, the games that are out there just don't really appeal to me in that way. You know, Multiversus at this point in time does appeal to me in that way. I like the diverse cast of characters from all these different WB franchises. Yesterday they announced Stripe from Gremlins is going to be one of the new characters this season. I was like, pumped. I immediately ran to my dresser and grabbed my Gremlin shirt, which has Stripe on it, and I slapped it on and wore it so I could have it on when I play Multiversus on stream. I was excited. I was like, wow, this is cool. I like this game. I like where they're going with it. Okay? Certainly it's not perfect, and I rage when I play it online, as usual, because there's online lag and fucking things teleporting all over because it uses shitty rollback netcode. And what are you going to do? That's the industry standard. You know my take on rollback netcode. I've talked about it here on the podcast recently, so we don't have to reiterate that, right? But to me, all right, I take a look at all the games I'm playing right now, and I say, Toy Story 3, offline, somewhat narrative based, but, you know, platformer, chill style game. Final Fantasy VII, offline, lengthy JRPG, retro game, chill playthrough. Bassmaster, offline, catching fish while I talk with you guys, chill game. You see the point I'm starting to make here? Like, everything I'm doing is an offline, laid back, chill playthrough. Multiversus is the game that's breaking that up. You see? It's the game that's adding variety right now to the streams when everything else is this kind of offline kind of a deal. You see? So all this being said, what do you do? I don't know. I don't want to drop Multiversus. I love this game right now. I do. I might not like it long term. For now, I'm really enjoying it. And the fact that I am playing it at least 2 times a week is keeping me in line with everything going on in the game. I don't feel like I'm behind the curve right now, which is good. But if I stop playing it or if I play it less, I will be. All right? I don't know. I really don't know where all the backlash is coming from for this game. I just don't understand it. I just really don't. Because I see it in my stream chat. It's almost like people want to be contrarians. All right. But trust me, I know about being contrarian because I've been one for a large part of my life, right? I'm the guy who comes out against having paid shilling and sponsorships on streams while everyone else out there has adopted it as a content creator. I've stood against it, right? I'm very contrarian with a lot of different things out there. I disagree with the mainstream. We know that, right? But it almost seems to me like this is a situation where I'm not being contrarian. As a rare thing, I'm actually enjoying a game that has hype behind it. I'm trying to stay in line with everyone else playing it. But now it's like my viewer base has turned contrarian against me with this game. All right? And as much as you want to argue, well, Smash Brothers is superior. I'm not here to debate that with you. I wouldn't even know. I don't play these kind of games, okay? At length. I don't. It's very rare when I do. The few times that I've played Smash Brothers, I enjoyed it for a little while, and then I got bored with it. I didn't really care about it after a couple of weeks of maybe dabbling in it, you know? This is a case where I've been playing Multiversus for about 2 to 3 weeks. I actually really like it, and I want to keep playing it and keep learning it. I'm not bored with it yet at all. In fact, every time I play it, I find it refreshing and interesting. I'm using new characters, finding out new strategies. There's nothing about this game that's become boring to me yet, okay? But here's the difference. Smash Brothers is an older game. It's been out for a few years. DLCs are done. Active, updates for the game are done. All right? Still has a vibrant, active community, and that's great for the active, competitive community that's been playing Smash Brothers all along. I don't care. I'm not interested in Smash Brothers. All right? I'm not. You crapping on Multiverses is not going to get me to say, oh, I've seen the light, I'll play Smash instead. It's not going to happen. You understand that? Like, I'm not interested in Smash Brothers at all. As I've been explaining to you guys, if you don't stay playing a fighting game actively, all right, you're so behind, it's too hard to play catch up. Let's say right now I decided, you know what? I think I want to learn how to play Smash Brothers competitively. It's not something I would be able to do very easily. Even if I played it 2 times a week, 3 times a week, it would be such a sharp uphill climb to try to learn what's happened in that game in the last few years. People know matchups. There's been all these DLC characters added I've never even seen before. You're talking such a battle to even get to a point where I would be able to jump in and do anything competitively in the game. It would take so much time investment, you guys wouldn't want it. All right? The thing is, I've been there and done that. I know that. Especially with franchises that I've played before, like Street Fighter, Even with me having a basis of having played Street Fighter my entire life, all right? Right now, if I were to try to jump into competitive Street Fighter 5, it would be so much time and effort and work to do it because I didn't play the game. The game's been out for so many years. I didn't play it. I ignored most of it. It would be such a learning curve, all right? But sadly, here's what I think happens is people follow other people and they try to compare me to them, and I feel like it's an unfair comparison, right? How many times have you been on the stream and people bring up Maximilian, or people bring up Angry Joe, or people bring up another content creator who's like exponentially bigger than me, has way more experience in various dabbling in different things than I do? Like Max plays all the fighting games, right? He's actively been playing most of the fighting games as they came out. So it's easy for him to jump into a game and immediately kind of adopt it and have a fun stream where he can get wins or whatever. That's not easy for me. I'm not like that. I'm a variety guy. Take a look at all the other shit that I do that Max doesn't, and that's where my time goes, as opposed to him focusing in a lot on fighting games, right? I'm not Maximilian. I can't just jump into a fighting game like him and immediately go crazy, putting out an entertaining stream. It's work for me because I'm not actively in the fighting game community. I'm not following that style of gameplay. You see what I'm saying? It's very different. But I really feel like that's what's happened is we get people who tend to look at the big guys and say, oh, well, DSP could just do that and just do that. I can't. I'm not them. You understand? Right now, the only way for me to get into a fighting game is to play it as soon as it comes out, stick with it as it evolves from that launch game. And that's what I've been doing with Multiversus. You guys have been asking me for years, play a different fighting game. That's exactly what I'm doing. I took the newest one, right? I'm jumping into it. I'm trying to learn it from the ground up. I'm trying to put out entertaining content for you guys, which you guys are telling me I'm doing. Because again, whenever I play Multiversus, the streams have good viewership and the engagement is there. The problem is people won't support it. And every time I say, why is support so low when I play Multiversus? I get every excuse in the book. Because it's a knockoff of Smash Brothers. Because it's not a 2D fighter. We wanted you to play Tekken. Or we wanted you to play Mortal Kombat. Or we wanted you... Basically, every unrealistic BS excuse. I can't play those other games. I didn't play them since launch. I can't jump into them and play them competitively. It would be a waste of time. I'm not interested in Smash. It's great that Smash has a vibrant community of gamers who love that and play it. I'm not one of them. And I'm not going to be one of them. I'm not going to jump in years later and magically become good at Smash and then be entertaining at it. It's not going to happen. You know, you can't... People want it both ways. They want me to be able to jump into another fighting game that's not classic Street Fighter and put out entertaining streams and play it competitively and do well. Oh, but not this new game. Oh, wait, what? I'm playing the new... Nope, not that one. You know? So, excuse me, I can't stop burping now. Whew. So, all I can say is I want to keep playing it, but I need support. I can't have a game that I'm investing 2 to 3 streams a weekend. And literally every time I boot it up, I know, oh, time for a really slow stream. And now it basically sets me back. And I'll give you a perfect example. Yesterday, the first stream was Final Fantasy VII. It did really good. All right, I did good support. Well, a great engagement. It was a great stream. And then what happened? I had an insanely slow Multiversus stream. And it basically negates the positivity and help of that first stream, because now the day overall is just kind of an okay day because it was like a dead late stream for support. And that's the problem. You see? I can't keep depending on having an overly great session on the first stream when I play Multiversus on the late one. And this has not happened once. It hasn't happened twice. It's happened every single time I play Multiversus besides 2. The very first time I played it, and then I think last week there was one day where several people actually did a bunch of good tips. But outside of that, I mean, I played the game how many times? You know, take a look. It's like 8 sessions now, 9 sessions, something like that. You're telling me 2 out of 8, 2 out of 9, so 25% of the time, it's good. And other times, it's like, oh, gotta expect a slow stream. That's not gonna work. You see? So, if what you're telling me is we don't want to see you play Multiversus, I would probably be like, okay. And I would get that message if every time I played it had low viewership and low engagement as well as low support. That's not the case. I'm getting really good viewership on the streams of Multiversus. I'm getting really good engagement. All right? Here's what I think happened. I actually talked about it last night. Here's what I think has happened. And I don't think I have anyone to blame but myself. All right? I will 100% take the blame for this. All right? Here's the deal. When I got my start on YouTube back in 2008, 2009, one of the major things I did was I played fighting games. I played Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, and I was one of the few content creators on YouTube putting out consistent content for that game. And then I played Street Fighter 4, and I played a lot of Street Fighter 4. Essentially, I would be playing whatever the new release was for the week and a lot of Street Fighter 4. Like, that was my schedule. That was my forte. That was what people knew I was going to be doing. Phil will be doing random online sets, Dan Madness, Ryu Madness, Zangief Madness, Makoto Madness. When she comes out as a DLC character or an expansion, I'll play with all the new characters, right? People expected that from me. And then over the years, we saw other fighting game franchises get rebooted and become prominent. Mortal Kombat came back, essentially, from being a dead franchise to becoming a competitive and fun fighting game again, right? But at some point, during all this happening, two key things happened, all right? Number one, the fighting game market started to become saturated. And what I mean by that is that when I started playing, excuse me, when I started playing Street Fighter 4, this was like the fighting game renaissance, right? It really was. Fighting games had still been around, but weren't mainstream prominent for a very long time. These communities were kind of like keeping to themselves, right? And they were kind of laid back, doing their own thing, their own hardcore communities. When Street Fighter 4 came out, oh my God, there was a giant reinvigoration. And so when I started playing Street Fighter 4 prominently, I got known for playing Street Fighter 4 on YouTube. I was known as that guy who plays a lot of Street Fighter 4 and swears and does funny stuff when he plays. And a lot of the main fighting game community hated me for it, for being prominent and known on YouTube as a fighting game guy when I wasn't competitive. I wasn't actively traveling to tournaments trying to basically be like a competitive guy. I was just having fun with games. They hated me. That's not fair. We have to grind. We have to work hard and be top level tournament competitive to get a following, while Phil can just dick around with the game and he gets popular. We hate it. Okay? But at that point in time, here's, let's say 2009 all the way through, let's say like 2012, 2013, I was known as a guy who always played the hot new fighting games and covered it in a very prominent way. I even had a whole channel, DSP Street Fighter, that was dedicated to that for a long time. Okay? But what happened was the fighting game market got oversaturated, because when you had a reinvigoration in Street Fighter, now you got a reinvigoration in Mortal Kombat. Now Tekken's back with Tekken Tag Tournament and regular Tekken. Oh, look, now Guilty Gear is coming back with multiple games. Oh, now there's the new Blaze Blue. Now we got another new one, Grand Blue. Now we got this one, that one, the indie game here, there. Oh, Smash Brothers is in there now. Oh, now there's a knockoff of Smash Brothers. And you see what happened was, essentially, it just went to the point where there was so much going on in fighting games, it didn't really matter. And when I played these games, it felt less meaningful, and it felt less momentous. And it felt like, okay, I'm just going to play this game for a while, but it's probably not going to bowl me over. You know, I'm probably going to play the single player content. I'll do some online multiplayer, and then I'm going to drop it. And I think that's what most people started to expect. All right? And this is where I'm going to take the blame. All right? If you take a look at my content that I've put out essentially for almost 10 years now, my formula has been, I pick up a fighting game, if there's offline content, I play through it, I play online for a week or two, I drop it. That's always been my formula, right? Even Street Fighter, which used to be the game I always picked up and played at length, I dropped. Couldn't stand it, right? So what ended up happening was, basically people who used to like me playing fighting games competitively left. I don't have that audience anymore. I don't. What I have is an audience that enjoys watching me play any game online, but these are not hardcore fighting game fans. And this is a generalization I'm making. If you are a fighting game fan and you still watch my content, thank you. I really appreciate that, because definitely I know, all right, I absolutely know that I have not been putting out consistent fighting game content for you guys, right? I just haven't. I usually play the games for a little bit. I mean, even the ones like Mortal Kombat, I played it a little longer, right, than most other fighters. But even that, after a few weeks, I dropped it. And so what happens is the audience changes. And what I find now is I have an audience that would much rather relax with me and play a chill offline gaming experience, have fun interactions with me, and support that, than watch me sit here for 2 hours struggling to play a game online that I'm not great at, having narrow victories and a lot of losses, freaking out at the netcode, raging at that. That's a shtick, of course. That's something that's worked in the past, right? But I think what happens is the people who used to be in line with that and liking that moved on because they realized Phil is not going to be the guy, who's going to be covering fighting games seriously anymore. And people moved on to watch other content creators do that. Take a look at how many FGC streamers and content creators there are now. There's ridiculous amounts of people who've jumped on in the last 10 years who are well known for doing it. And I think my audience who used to watch me do that went elsewhere. And that's my fault. I will 100% take the blame and say, you know what? If I wanted to retain that audience and have the ability to jump into a new fighting game like Multiversus, which is one I rarely actually am liking and I'm actively trying to learn, right? Sadly, it's my fault that I don't have the support, all right? So I don't know what to do because the thing is, you guys are being supportive of everything else, just not Multiversus, you see? So it would be pretty two-faced, pretty contradictory, pretty ungrateful, right? For me to sit here and say to you guys, man, you guys just won't support me. That is complete fucking bullshit. I would never say that. That's not the case at all. You guys are so supportive of me and my content. But this is a case where I haven't played a game like this seriously in so long. And now that I'm doing it, it's almost like the people are like, what is this? Right? It's like, what is this? I don't understand. What is this content that is here? And I get it. So, let me ask a question. What do you guys think? And what is the best course of action here? Do you think I should take Multiversus from a night stream to daytime streams? Because as we wrap up with Final Fantasy VII, and as we're about to wrap up with Toy Story 3, I would guess probably maybe 2 more streams, we're going to have the ability to do that. To move it from night streams to day streams. Now, there's new stuff coming out in a week. We got Saints Row next week that's going to take prominence for sure. But if I'm beating multiple games in the next week, we should still have the ability to have Multiversus as a day stream. I'd be willing to try it. I'm just not convinced that's going to change anything. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see a time slot changing the attitude of my overall viewer base is saying, oh, now we're willing to support Phil playing a fighting game. You know what I mean? And you know what? I'll be honest as well. This does make me worried a little bit. Allow me to explain what I mean by that. All right? What if a major, now let's be honest, Multiversus, it's a free-to-play game. Is it very popular right now? Yes. But are people treating it as like a full-fledged, insanely mainstream fighting game release? Not really. I know people aren't saying, oh, it's the new Street Fighter. It's the new Mortal Kombat or whatever. I get that. It's not getting that kind of attention, right? At least in the fighting game community, I know for a fact. It's kind of like an apprehensive wait-and-see kind of a deal. But my question now is, what's going to happen when Street Fighter 6 comes out? Okay? Because even if Street Fighter 6, I can't speak. Even if Street Fighter 6 sucks, all right? Which it might, but I hope it doesn't. Everything I've seen, I like the graphical style of the game so far. The fighting style, they seem to adjusted it to be more in line with more classic fighters as opposed to the shit that was Street Fighter 5. Looks like it's going to have a ton of offline content as well as online competitive stuff. It's looking good. It looks like they've redirected that train wreck off, back onto the tracks. And it's looking better and better the more that I see it. Okay? And I want to cover it. I do. I want to cover it. So here we go with this fucking dunce right here. It's fucking be insulting. Yeah. Insulting is really getting away from me to listen to you. Fucking idiot. So anyway. Yeah, like, I'm nervous. Because maybe what it is that it's been so long since I've taken a fighting game seriously. What if I like Street Fighter 6? What if I want to cover it in depth? Not only do the offline, but I want to do like I used to. Today, guys, we're doing Ryu Madness. We're going online. We're playing Ryu all day long. I'm going to try to find out strategies with him or whatever, and then I'm going to do a series of videos and content with him. What if it doesn't work anymore? What if that audience literally moved on, right? And now I can't get support for playing fighting games at all. And the thing is, I do still get support for Friday Night Fights. But I think that's kind of an anomaly because that's old school Street Fighter. That's what I've always been good at. That's what I continue to be good at. When you watch Friday Night Fights now, you see me actually challenging some good opponents in crazy hard like matches. There's really no scrubs left playing the game anymore. It's just me in really high level matches. So that's a whole different entity. That's something that's kind of a remnant of my past. You know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me. But yeah, you know, it does. It makes me worry. Have people moved on from me doing my fighting game content? Have I now become the chill streaming guy? And let's be honest, there's different things there. Like Elden Ring, oh my God. Everyone wanted to watch me play Elden Ring. That certainly was not chill streaming. Let's be honest, okay? But you understand what I'm saying. Am I going to be the guy that can only ever play a hot new release when it's new or a chill stream game? I'm not going to be able to do fighting games. You know, what would happen right now if I picked up a FPS game, which I haven't played in a while now. It's been a couple years since I've actually played an FPS game really in any capacity. What if I tried to play that? Is that dead now too to me? I don't know. You know, all these questions are kind of opening up now. And it makes me nervous. Because I like being a variety guy. But I like the fact that I'm kind of adjustable. And I can jump into different situations. And play different things. But I don't want it to be that now I'm not going to get supported when I do those. You see what I'm saying? So, I am nervous. I am. You know, last night actually upset me because I'm having a great time. I'm learning new characters, right? And I'm trying to have, learn this game and have a good time. The audience is having a good time. But it's the one thing in my whole lineup that's not performing well. And that's a problem. Oops, I hit my mic. So, we'll talk about it. It seems like some people, I'm reading people in the stream chat and what they're saying. It seems like some people are of the impression that I should attempt to rotate Multiversus from night streams to day streams. And maybe balance Multiversus with Saints Row when it comes out next week. And see how it does and how it performs. And if it changes anything. I guess we could. Next week, since Saints Row is the new game, and I'll be done with Final Fantasy VII likely by then. And likely be near the end of or done with Toy Story 3 as well. We'll have the opening of daytime streams to do that. Okay? And then we can maybe juggle different things on the night streams. Alright? Alright, fair enough. Maybe that's what we'll do. I'm glad we had the discussion. I'm glad you guys are giving me your feedback. Okay. Alright, before we get to shout out to Q&A, alright? Just going to reiterate a couple quick things. I'm here today and tomorrow. Thursday's my day off. Now this week, again, I hate to say it, shitty, tight week for me financially. I hate having tight financial weeks, but it's just life at this point. I have a couple bills coming up, one of which is due in 2 days, and the other which is due 2 days after that. But at the same time, I need to be able to afford my day off. So, if you are thinking of supporting the streams this week, tipping would be very helpful, and I'd be very appreciative if you could tip. Yesterday, we had great tips, and I was very happy about that. It was funny because the Final Fantasy VII stream, the tips were great. I was like, wow, actually, there's no super chats and no memberships. It's kind of odd that we didn't get any of those because typically, we'll get a mix, and it was all tips. And I was like, I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure there's nothing wrong with anything, and there wasn't. Everything was worried. Just everyone was listening and actually saying, we want to help Phil. We're going to support him with tips. I was like, great, okay? So if you can support the streams today, please tip, all right? That's what I need help with right now. When you tip me, those are funds I can put towards these 2 bills coming up and my day off on Thursday, okay? Thanks in advance to anyone who supports in any way. I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm grateful for anything. This is how I make my living. I'm not shilling products. I don't have any partnerships or advertisements or sponsorships. This is it. So thank you to anyone who supports my streams. And, thank you particularly to anyone who tips. That will help out more. Okay, shout outs. We start off with Doodle. who did a super chat. And Doodle says, whatever happened with you building a PC? Did you quit? Yes, I quit. No. All right, let me summarize what's happened. We did a series of podcasts to determine exactly what it would be that I'd be looking for in a new PC in 2022, right? And I think we got a pretty good listing of components that I'd be looking for, and we kind of, price-wise, I could probably get a PC that's good for around $1,500, roughly. If I really want to kind of future-proof, you're probably talking more between $2,000 and $2,500. All right, that's the price range I'm looking at for upgrading my business at this point, okay? At that time when we were doing those podcasts, I had someone who was interested in financing it, and then basically they were unable to do so, which is fine. Life happens, okay? And since then, I was like, well, the good news is now I know what I need. So when I'm ready to make the steps to buy something, I know what I'm looking for because I had no clue up to that point what I was looking for, all right? So there was definitely good progress from that series of podcasts. But at this point, I can't afford anything. I don't have money for it. What we talked about is the possibility that later this year, when there's a bunch of new releases out, I could do a fundraising event where people would contribute to try to help me fundraise to get this new PC and go from there. So that's where we were. Now, recently, in the last couple of weeks, right, I've been cleaning out my closet. And we found a bunch of classic games that potentially have value. And maybe I could find a buyer who would buy these things for good dollar amount, right? And, we'll see. This is something that I need to work on. I don't have time to work on it right now. I'm busy 6 days a week, full-time streaming. I'm doing other stuff, juggling other things. I need to have some time to sit down and look around and say, okay, here's some shops in the area. Maybe I can contact one of them, let them know what I have, see if they're interested in buying any of these games, and not rip me off for them since they apparently have some value to them, and go from there. So that's what I got to do. I got to do some work on my end, but I need time to do it. Right now, I haven't had time to do it. I need to actually look around and see what's going on, okay? So we'll see. But that's where we are right now. No, I can't get a PC right now. We'll work on it and see what happens later in the year. Didn't someone offer to give me a used PC? No. It wasn't. As I knew, that was bullshit. It was another content creator who was a drama queen who wanted to pull me into the world of drama. All right? Didn't work. All right? I didn't fall for the trap. And then within a week of that happening, they revealed themselves to be a scumbag to me. And I said, I'm not talking about them anymore. And that was the end of that. I'm very, very, very happy that I did not take that offer because it would have just been a world of drama and bullshit I would have been sucked down into. I knew from the moment that I was offered that, I was like, this is such a piece of bait. I am so not going to take this fucking bait. Because again, if someone offers you something, right, out of the kindness of their own heart, would they then start talking about it publicly on the internet? No. I've explained this to you guys before. At least here's my philosophy when it comes to doing charitable things in your life, okay? I want to help someone out, so I will help them. I won't have to publicize it. I won't have to talk about it because I'm doing it for a truly good reason. I'm not trying to do it to make myself look good. I'm not trying to do it to get over and have a whole new audience see me in a new light and see, wow, what a really good guy because that guy does something charitable. Instead, if ever I'm involved with charity in my life, I've always done it behind the scenes because I was raised as a Roman Catholic. And one of the things that you learn in Catholicism is charity, all right, is done as an act of mercy or an act of good works towards others for the sake of doing good towards others. It's not for personal gain. That's if you actually do a charitable work for personal gain, you haven't done a charitable work at all. Right? Years and years ago, I took so much shit because I refused to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. I refused. Because I said, if I'm going to do something charitable, I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to do it behind the scenes. And I'm going to help someone out and no one needs to know about it. It's not about me getting over and looking good on my stream and joining a viral movement of people who want to get the word about ALS out and all of that shit. That's not what charity is supposed to be. I was raised different, and I guess it's just been ingrained with me in my whole life. So the moment that someone said, oh, I'm going to offer you a PC, I'm like, wow, that's really nice and charitable of you. Let me think about it, because I'm going to work with my audience to see exactly what it is I need. And I have someone working with me that maybe wants to finance a new PC, and I'll get back to you. Thank you for the offer. Within one day of that conversation, people come into the stream. Are you going to take the PC? Are you going to take it? What do you mean, am I going to take the PC? How do you even know about that? Oh, you didn't know he's talking about it on his streams? No. Why would he? Why would he publicize a possible good thing he's going to do unless he's trying to look good? So, yeah, I didn't fall for the trap. I'm not stupid, you know? And I'm glad I didn't, because literally within 1 week, again, the guy's on his stream talking shit, saying nasty things, doing publicized negative things towards me because he wants clickbait drama because he can't make any good content. He's a fucking... I already said, he's a fucking scumbag. He literally has no talent, which is why he has to do these things, do these stunts on his streams to get ahead and get a following. So, good for him. Let him do his own shit over there. I'm not taking any shit from him. And I'm certainly not taking any handouts from him. I'm not stupid. Okay. Snow Carl to the $1.50. So I remember a year or two back and further, you wanted to speak about your parents, how they're doing, and you would discuss during weekly phone talk. How come you never do this anymore? Will they ever visit you again? Here we go again. Snow Carl with intrusive questions. Literally every day. This is Snow Carl now with intrusive questions. Okay? All right. Do I have much to talk about with my parents? No. Why? Because we have our own lives going on. I call them once a week. I get caught up with them, and they tell me what's going on their end, and I tell them what's going on my end. And it's personal stuff. It usually has nothing to do with the streams at all. It's not stuff that I would talk about publicly. Right? Right? And here, in summary, they're living their lives. They're getting a little older. You know, yes, as you get older, you have health problems and things, which you guys already know. I told you the reason they can't travel here is because they have health problems. You know, they have bad backs, bad knees, various things, reasons why they've told me they cannot travel. All right? I would love for them to visit. They tell me they can't. All right? And that's really it. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, why would I, you know, oh, let me tell you exactly what we talked about all week. You know, what? No. That's my conversation between me and my parents. Why would I tell you specifics of what we talked about? Right? I mean, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. I guess we'll see how this goes. All right? So anyway, guys, thanks for chilling with me so far. Had a great stream. Sorry for my throat. In fact, I think I'm going to have a lozenge. My throat is swollen again today from fucking allergies. Ooh. All right. Welcome, Derek. How you doing? Well, Derek, you missed us doing the final story mission, which was crazy. I fought mutant muffins, and I was shooting witches on turrets shooting lasers. I'm not kidding. It was weird as hell. But we beat the final story mission, okay? So now we're doing the open world stuff in Woody's Roundup, and essentially trying to round up the end of the game here, all right? A few shout-outs to do. 1 Minute Man, not the real one, by the way. This is the person who's been using his name recently to do small tips. Did a $1.50 tip and says, we need gunner glasses and bubbles ASAP. Well, bubbles is easier. If you'd like to see the bubbles, please like the stream. If we hit 100 likes, I will blow some bubbles. Okay? As for the gunner glasses, we need to hit at least $50 in tips, so we've got a ways to go for that. Then Misho Rizzo tipped $2. So we had a $3 in tips during the break, which gets us to $13 in tips today. It's very slow. Now, I did receive a $25 tip from the real 1 Minute Man during the break. So, that will get us up to $38 in tips so far today on the Toy Story stream. Okay? So, let's chill for a little longer. Let's see how things go. If you'd like to support the stream, the best way to support it today would be tipping. Because my day off is Thursday and I still have 2 bills due this week, plus my day off I have to pay for via tips. So if you could tip me, I would really appreciate that. And outside of that, let's just relax and see what else we can get done and see how far we get. But this may be the final Toy Story stream. Okay, guys? Okay. All right. Oh, is it bubbles time? Got 102 likes? All right. Since you guys asked, I'll blow some bubbles.
Hey, come on over here.
Lotso wants me to go over there, but the funny thing is you don't have to talk to him.
Cool.
All right, guys, so I want to say thank you for chilling with me. We got an hour left. I think basically this will be the end of the game. We'll do this, which will probably unlock some fantasy side missions. We'll do some, but it just seems like we've done the major content of the game, and the game doesn't really have an ending, right? So I think we'll do this. I think there's one more major mission for Ham where he wants you to go on like a treasure hunt. So maybe we'll like try to do that. But basically, I think that we're pretty much at the end, right? So I guess we'll see what happens in the next hour, okay? Jade, it's all good. If you don't like 2 Point Campus, you don't have to be here tonight. It's your choice. Sid Reborn took me $1.50. Says, would you rather have a Woody or a big one? Well, there you go. They're actually the same thing. Now, guys, thank you for chilling with me. I am going to put out a quick post and a tweet. Obviously, we have an hour left. We haven't even hit the Tier 1 tips goal. And after last night's very slow Multiversus stream, I got to hope that things will pick up. I hope they will. I hope that we'll get some support in the next hour or so. Okay? So let me quickly post up. And then we will continue with the final hour. I forgot to put Marxist Carl on the leaderboard, by the way. Let me get him up there. I feel bad. Sorry, Marxist Carl. Okay. All right. My nose. Okay. All right. All right, ready? Here we go. All right, everyone. So this is pretty much going to be the finale of Toy Story 3. Literally, the only things left is with the photos anyway. So, all right, guys. Thank you. I did enjoy the game. Overall, it was fun, interesting, and it was actually cool to play it on the Series X to see the better graphics and everything. So, thank you. And thank you to anyone who watched and supported the playthrough as well. I appreciate that. If you guys know of any more hidden gems that I would not have known of that I missed over the years, by all means, always let me know. And maybe I'll check them out when I get a chance. Took a couple of years for this one, but hey, it's been a good playthrough. All right, guys, thank you. See you later. All right. Yeah, guys, we're done. I mean, what else am I going to do? These pictures? I'm bored at this point. I'm glad I beat the story. That was nice, but yeah, we'll call it quits. I got a little bit of extra time, so I guess we'll do a little bit of Q&A. All right. And 2 Point Campus is tonight. Of course, I have like no voice. My throat is so swollen. It's been like this for 2 days, remember? It sucks. And every time it feels better, then I end up going on stream and talking the whole time, and then it gets irritated again. Oh, got a little bit of interruption in my internet there, guys. If you're wondering what happened, yeah, I saw a few frame drops. This happened yesterday, too. Okay. Am I getting enough sleep? I'm trying. And, you know, I'm sleeping decently. The problem is the allergies are getting to me, and then I wake up and I feel like shit in the morning. Okay. Alright, so.
Back is stiff too.
Oh. Alright. Let me just briefly send out one more tweet and say, hey guys, we're doing Q&A. Okay. Right click and my pad thinks it's a left click. No, it's not. It's a right click. It's a right click. Won't even do it. Okay. I'm going to do my best, guys. I'm going to do my best with an impromptu Q&A with a half voice, all right? Okay. All right. I think we're going to call it quits, guys. Thank you for just doing a little impromptu Q&A. I appreciate that. All right? Awesome. All right, guys. So, that is it for the stream. I would like to remind you all that tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to continue on with 2 Point Campus. All right? Tonight, it is the Clown College. And my goal now, since this is now a late night stream, is in each night that I play it for 2 hours to try to unlock the next campus in the game. I've been doing them around an hour and a half, so we may be able to pull it off tonight. We'll see. All right, so that's tonight, 6:45 p.m. Tomorrow, it's Final Fantasy VII Endgame, grinding, and then heading to the super bosses. And tomorrow night, we're going to do Multiversus. All right, guys? All right, thank you. Please enjoy the break. I hope to see you tonight.
If you can tonight, please support the stream. As you can see, today's stream was very low on support. So was yesterday's Multiversus, so I'm hoping things will pick up tonight. I hope to see you then. All right, guys? Thank you. Peace out.